The man did not shout when he left. He did not curse or slam anything. He simply climbed onto the wagon, took the reins, and said something that would stay burned into her forever. I never wanted this life. Neither of you. Then the horses moved, the wheels creaked, and just like that, he was gone. Anna stood in the snow long after the wagon disappeared over the ridge, as if her body refused to believe what her eyes had already seen. The cold wind cut across the open land, sharp and loud, filling the silence he had left behind. Beside her, little Emily pressed herself against Anna's leg, her small hands gripping the coat she had worn since autumn. She had not loosened her grip once. The man had taken everything. The wagon, the horses, the food meant to last the winter, the tools, the rifle, even the thick quilts Anna had sewn by hand during better days. He had left them with nothing but the clothes they wore and a thin wool blanket that had been hanging on a bush when he made his choice. Emily looked up at her mother with wide, frightened eyes. "Mama, where did Papa go?" Anna swallowed. Her throat burned more than the cold. "Away," she said quietly. "If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. This story gets much more intense, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below." The word felt heavy. Final. The December sun hung low and pale in the sky, offering light but no warmth. Snow stretched in every direction, broken only by distant trees and rolling hills. They were far from any town. Walking back would mean freezing before nightfall. Walking forward was just as hopeless. Standing still would kill them. Anna knelt in the snow and pulled Emily close, wrapping the thin blanket around them both. Emily's lips were already turning blue. That scared Anna more than the silence, more than the empty horizon. "We're going to be okay," Anna said, forcing the words out. Saying them felt like lying, but she needed them to be true. "I promise you." Emily nodded, trusting her completely, and that trust felt heavier than fear. Anna looked around, thinking, calculating, refusing to break. She had grown up on a farm. She knew hardship. She knew survival was not luck. It was choices, made fast and made hard. That was when she remembered the cave. She had seen it the evening before, when they were still pretending to be a family. A dark opening in the rock face about a mile north, partly hidden by pine trees. At the time, it meant nothing. Now, it meant shelter. "Can you walk a little more?" Anna asked. Emily nodded again, even though her legs trembled. They moved through the snow slowly. When the drifts grew too deep, Anna lifted Emily into her arms. The child felt too light. Hunger and cold had already begun their work. The wind pushed against them, testing how badly they wanted to live. By the time they reached the cliff, Anna's arms burned and her lungs ached. But the cave was there, real and solid. The entrance was wide and tall, dark but dry. No fresh tracks. No smell of animals. It was empty. "This is where we'll stay," Anna said. That night, they huddled together beneath the thin blanket, listening to the wind scream outside. Anna did not sleep. She planned. Survival demanded action, not tears. When morning light crept into the cave, Anna stood up with purpose. "First thing," she said, "we need fire." Emily watched her with absolute faith, and Anna knew there was no room for failure. They gathered wood, stripped bark, broke branches. Anna's hands cracked and bled, but she did not stop. She remembered watching her father make fire once, long ago. She tried to copy the motion, spinning wood against wood, faster and harder, even when her palms blistered and broke open. Emily sat close and whispered, "Tell me about when you were little." So Anna talked while she worked. About summer fields. About her mother's kitchen. About warm places that felt impossibly far away. Her voice shook, but her hands kept moving. Then, finally, smoke. A tiny red glow. Fire was born. Anna cried then. Not softly. She cried for everything she had lost and everything she still had to protect. Emily climbed into her lap, and together they watched the flames push back the cold. They had nothing. But they were alive. And that was enough to begin. The fire changed everything, but it did not erase fear. When the flames settled into a steady glow, reality came rushing back in. Anna sat staring into the fire long after Emily had fallen asleep against her side. The child's breathing was shallow but steady, each small rise of her chest a quiet promise that she was still here. Anna wrapped an arm around her and stared at her own hands. The skin was torn and swollen, dark with dried blood. They throbbed with every heartbeat. She welcomed the pain. It meant she had done something right. The night stretched endlessly. Wind screamed outside the cave like it was angry they had survived. Snow rattled against the rock, and shadows jumped across the walls as the fire flickered. Anna stayed awake, feeding the flames piece by piece, afraid that if she closed her eyes, everything would disappear by morning. At some point before dawn, exhaustion won. She woke to Emily coughing softly. "Mama," Emily whispered, scared. "I'm cold." Anna pulled her closer and added more wood. "I know, baby. I've got you." Morning brought gray light and hard truths. The fire was smaller now, and the cave felt colder than it had the night before. Anna stepped outside and immediately felt the bite of winter on her face. Snow stretched untouched, clean and cruel. No tracks. No signs of help. Just silence. She closed her eyes for a moment and let the truth hit her fully. No one was coming. When she went back inside, Emily was sitting up, rubbing her eyes. "Are we staying here forever?" Anna knelt in front of her. "We're staying as long as we need to." Emily nodded, accepting it without question. That trust hurt more than anything the man who left them had ever said. They worked through the day. Anna gathered branches while Emily collected smaller sticks, dragging them proudly like trophies. Anna used rocks and packed dirt to block parts of the cave opening, leaving just enough space for air and smoke. It wasn't pretty, but it slowed the wind. By afternoon, hunger became impossible to ignore. Emily's stomach growled loudly, and she looked embarrassed. "It's okay," Anna said quickly. "Mine too." But there was nothing to eat. That night, Anna melted snow over the fire and gave Emily warm water to drink. It tasted like smoke and stone, but Emily smiled anyway. "It's good," she said, even though it wasn't. Anna turned away so her daughter wouldn't see her eyes fill. The next days blurred together. Anna moved through them with quiet focus. She studied the ground near the cave, noticing patterns in the snow she had never cared about before. Small tracks. Repeating paths. Life moving even in winter. Rabbits. She remembered watching her father set traps when money was tight. She pulled apart the wire from her corset with shaking fingers and shaped it the way memory told her to. The first trap failed. The second, too. Each failure felt personal. On the fourth morning, she found fur caught in the wire. The rabbit was gone, but proof remained. "We're close," she whispered, mostly to herself. When she finally caught one, she froze. The animal struggled weakly, eyes wide. Anna's hands shook as she ended its life quickly, tears slipping down her face. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Thank you." Emily watched silently. Later she asked, "Did it hurt him?" Anna answered honestly. "Not long." They cooked the meat over the fire. It was tough and tasted wild, but it filled their stomachs. Emily chewed slowly, then smiled. "I feel warm inside." That night, Anna slept for the first time without fear waking her every hour. But survival came with a cost. Anna's hands were constantly sore. Her back ached. Her mind never rested. Every sound outside made her reach for Emily. Every quiet moment reminded her how close they were to losing everything. Still, the cave began to change. Grass mats replaced bare stone. Pelts dried near the fire. The wind barrier held stronger each day. Emily learned how to feed the fire just enough to keep it alive. One evening, as snow fell heavily outside, Emily looked around and said softly, "Mama, This feels like home." Anna didn't answer right away. She looked at the walls, the fire, the small life they had carved out of nothing. "It is," she said finally. "Because we made it one." And deep inside, something shifted. They were no longer waiting to be saved. They were surviving on their own. The cold grew sharper as days turned into weeks. It settled into Anna's bones and refused to leave, even when the fire burned strong. Some mornings she woke before Emily and lay still, listening to the quiet, measuring their safety by the sound of the wind and the steady rise of her daughter's chest. Fear never fully disappeared. It simply learned to stay quiet. Anna gave the cave rules. Fire first. Food second. Everything else waited. Structure kept her sane. Each morning, she banked the fire and checked the traps before the sun climbed too high. Emily followed closely, copying her steps, asking careful questions. "How do you know it's a rabbit?" Anna crouched beside the tracks. "See how the back feet land in front? That's how they jump." Emily studied the snow like it held secrets meant only for her. "So they use the same paths?" "Yes. That's how we find them again." Emily nodded, serious. "Like roads." The child was learning too fast, and Anna didn't know whether to feel proud or broken by that. Skinning animals never became easy. Each time, Anna whispered an apology. Each time, she reminded herself that keeping Emily alive mattered more than her own comfort. She wasted nothing. Bones were boiled into thin broth. Pelts were cleaned and sewn together using needles shaped from bone and thread twisted from sinew. Her stitches were ugly but strong. "You're really smart," Emily said one night, watching her sew by firelight. Anna laughed softly. "No. I'm just scared." Emily thought about that. Then being scared makes you smart. Anna smiled, even as her eyes burned. They raised their sleeping place off the ground using branches tied together. It took days. Anna's arms shook by the end, but the first night they slept on it, lifted away from the frozen stone, she knew it was worth it. Emily slept through the night without shivering. The cave slowly filled with purpose. Every object had a place. Every place had meaning. Anna carved small spaces into the stone to store tools and food. Emily collected pine sap that Anna used to seal cracks. "Mama," Emily asked one evening, "are we poor now?" Anna looked around. They were warm. They were fed. They were together. "No," she said gently. "We have everything we need." Winter tightened its grip. Some nights, even melted snow froze inside the cave. Anna wrapped Emily in fur and told stories until the cold eased. Stories of farms, of summers, of a world beyond snow. Emily told her own stories too, giving names to animals they tracked, turning survival into imagination. On Christmas Eve, Anna carved a small wooden figure and placed it in the wall. They sang softly. Their voices echoed, small but steady. "I miss Papa," Emily said after. Anna held her close. "I know. Is he coming back?" "No," Anna said. "But we're okay." Emily nodded, and that was enough. By January, storms trapped them inside for days. Anna hid her fear behind games and lessons. She taught Emily to read using the only book she had saved. Letters turned into words. Words into strength. When the storms broke, they stepped into a world reshaped by snow. Traps still held. Life continued. Anna began thinking beyond survival. She planned. Drew shapes in ash. Better walls. A door. A future. They were no longer just enduring winter. They were preparing to outlive it. By the middle of winter, survival no longer felt like a single battle. It felt like hundreds of quiet ones, fought every day inside Anna's chest. Some mornings she woke with strength in her arms and focus in her mind. Other mornings, she woke heavy and empty, staring at the cave ceiling, wondering how much longer she could carry everything alone. She never let Emily see those moments. Instead, she stood up, shook the cold from her bones, and moved. Movement kept fear from catching her. One afternoon, after returning from the traps with nothing but empty wire and frozen fingers, Anna sat down hard beside the fire. For the first time since the man had left, anger finally found its way out. "I trusted him," she said out loud. Emily looked up from scraping a hide. "Who?" "My husband." The word felt strange now. "I trusted him with us." Emily was quiet. Then she asked, "Was it my fault?" The question hit Anna like a blow. "No," she said quickly, pulling Emily into her arms. "Never. Not even a little. Some people leave because they are weak, not because others are." Emily rested her head against Anna's chest. "Then why does it still hurt you?" Anna closed her eyes. That question was harder. "Because love doesn't disappear just because someone walks away," she said softly. "It fades slower than pain." That night, Anna cried after Emily slept. She cried into the furs, silently, carefully, so the sound wouldn't wake her child. She cried for the woman she used to be. For the future she had imagined. For the weight of decisions that never stopped pressing down. The next morning, she felt lighter. Saying the truth out loud had loosened something inside her. Work continued. The cave became warmer. More secure. Anna shaped her days with routine because routine gave her control. Emily learned to tend the fire alone. The first time Anna stepped outside and came back to find the flames steady, her chest tightened with pride and fear mixed together. "You did good," she said. Emily smiled wide. "I remembered what you showed me." As the cold deepened, Anna noticed something else changing. Emily no longer asked when help would come. She no longer cried at night. She moved with confidence, carried wood without being asked, watched the world with alert eyes. Childhood was slipping away, and Anna hated herself for being both grateful and angry about it. One evening, as snow fell hard outside, Emily asked, "Do you think mama bears feel tired like you do?" Anna laughed softly. "All mothers get tired. Even strong ones. Especially strong ones." That night, the fire burned low. Anna woke suddenly to silence. Too much silence. She rushed to the fire, heart racing, and brought it back just in time. She sat there afterward, shaking. "If I make one mistake," she thought, "everything ends." The pressure was crushing. In the deepest part of winter, when daylight barely touched the cave, Anna nearly broke. A trapline came back empty 3 days in a row. Their stored meat shrank. Emily grew quieter. Anna snapped once, raising her voice when Emily dropped a pot. Emily's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry." Anna felt shame rush through her. She knelt immediately. "No. I'm sorry. I'm scared sometimes." "That's not your burden." Emily hugged her tightly. "I'll help you carry it." Those words steadied her more than food ever could. A day later, a trap held 2 rabbits. Anna laughed for the first time in weeks. Winter still ruled the land, but something else had taken root inside the cave. They were no longer just mother and child. They were a team. By late winter, the cave no longer felt like a hiding place. It felt like a living thing that responded to their effort, as if it recognized them now. Anna woke each morning with a list already running through her head. Check the fire. Check Emily. Check the traps. Fear still woke with her, but it no longer ruled her. One morning, she noticed Emily tying the snare wire by herself. "Who taught you that?" Anna asked. "You," Emily said, without looking up. "You just didn't know you were teaching." The words landed deeper than Emily realized. Anna turned away so her daughter wouldn't see her eyes shine. Anna expanded the storage space at the back of the cave, digging into the packed earth with a sharpened stone. Her hands cramped, her back screamed, but she kept going. She needed a place where food would last longer. Where one bad week wouldn't mean the end. When she finished, she sat on the ground and laughed quietly, exhausted. "We're planning for the future now," she said. Emily tilted her head. "Does that mean we're safe?" Anna thought carefully. It means we're stronger. The hardest nights were the quiet ones. When the wind stopped and the world felt too still, Anna's thoughts grew loud. She thought about the man who left them. About whether he ever wondered if they were alive. About whether he slept warm while they fought winter with bare hands. One night, she finally spoke his name aloud. "I don't hate him," she admitted. Emily looked surprised. "Why not?" "Because hate would keep him with us," Anna said. "And I don't want that anymore." Emily nodded, as if understanding something far older than her years. Food came more steadily now. Anna learned which traps worked best and when to move them. She taught Emily how to read the sky, how smoke behaved before storms, how silence sometimes meant danger. Emily listened closely, storing knowledge the way other children stored toys. During a brutal cold stretch, water froze solid even near the fire. Anna woke to find Emily shaking. Panic shot through her. She wrapped her daughter in every pelt they had and held her for hours, whispering stories into her hair until warmth returned. "I thought I lost you," Anna whispered. Emily pressed her face into Anna's shoulder. "I'm here." That was enough to break her. Tears came hard and fast, soaking the furs. Emily didn't pull away. She stayed still, letting her mother cry the way children sometimes let adults do when love changes direction. After that night, Anna became gentler with herself. She allowed rest. Allowed laughter. Allowed small moments that weren't about survival. They celebrated little things. A clean catch. A warm day. The sound of dripping water from melting ice. One afternoon, while exploring the far end of the cave, Emily called out, "Mama, look." On the stone wall were faded handprints, painted long ago. "Someone lived here," Emily whispered. Anna felt a strange comfort settle over her. Proof that survival had happened here before. "Then we're not alone," Anna said. They traced the old marks with care. That night, Anna mixed ash and fat and pressed Emily's hand against the wall. Then her own. "Now we're part of this place," Emily said. "Yes," Anna replied. "And it's part of us." As days lengthened, Anna felt something new, hope without fear attached to it. Spring whispered at the edges of winter. Snow softened. The sun stayed longer. Emily asked the question Anna had been avoiding. What happens when the snow goes away? Anna looked around the cave they had built from nothing. "Then we choose." That night, as the fire burned steady and the wind rested, Anna realized something important. They had been abandoned. But they had also been rebuilt. As the light slowly began to change, Anna noticed it before Emily did. Mornings felt less cruel. The sun reached the cave entrance earlier, and sometimes it stayed long enough to warm the stone. It was not spring yet, but winter was finally loosening its grip. Anna felt it inside her too. She started walking farther from the cave, leaving Emily close by the entrance with clear rules. "If you don't see me, you shout. If you hear anything strange, you go inside and wait." Emily nodded seriously. "I will." Every step away from the cave scared Anna, but she knew staying small forever would eventually kill them. Survival meant growing, even when fear begged her not to. One afternoon, she found a frozen stream buried under snow. She knelt there for a long time, touching the ice, imagining running water. Fresh water meant life beyond melting snow. She marked the spot carefully, as if the land itself might forget. When she returned, Emily was waiting. "I counted every minute," Emily said. Anna hugged her tight. "You did good." That night, Emily asked quietly, "Do you ever think about before?" Anna knew what she meant. "Yes." "Does it hurt?" "Yes," Anna said. "But not the same way." Emily thought for a moment. "It hurts less because we're different now." Anna smiled. "Exactly." Winter gave one last hard test. A storm came fast and heavy, sealing them inside for days. Snow blocked the entrance almost completely. The fire struggled. Smoke hung low. Anna felt the old panic claw at her chest. She did not let it win. She taught Emily how to read words from the Bible slowly, sounding them out together. They made games from pebbles. They told stories until the storm passed. When the snow finally settled, Anna dug them out with aching arms. Outside, the world looked clean and new. Something else had changed too. Emily was no longer just following instructions. She noticed things first now. Tracks, weather shifts. Weak points in their shelter. One morning, Emily said, "If we block that corner more, the wind won't come in." Anna stared at her, then laughed softly. "You're right." They fixed it together. Later, sitting by the fire, Emily asked, "Are we still waiting for someone to save us?" Anna didn't answer right away. She thought about the woman she had been months ago, standing in the snow, watching a wagon disappear. "No," she said finally. "We're not waiting anymore." Emily nodded. "Good." As February faded, Anna began to plan out loud. A small garden once the ground softened. A stronger door. Trading furs for tools when the roads opened. Emily listened, eyes bright. "So we're staying?" "For now," Anna said. "Staying because we choose to. Not because we're trapped." That difference mattered more than anything. One evening, as the fire crackled low, Emily leaned against Anna and whispered, "I'm not scared anymore." Anna closed her eyes, letting the words sink deep. "Neither am I." That was when Anna understood the truth she had been circling for months. The cave had not saved them. They had saved each other. By the time March arrived, the world outside the cave had begun to breathe again. Snow still covered the ground, but it no longer felt endless. In the mornings, Anna could hear it, soft dripping, faint but steady. The sound settled deep in her chest like a promise she had almost forgotten how to trust. Emily heard it too. "Mama," she said one morning, standing at the entrance, "the snow is crying." Anna smiled. "That means it's leaving." They stood together in silence, listening. 4 months, every sound had meant danger. Now, this one meant change. With the warming days came difficult thoughts. Anna had grown skilled at surviving here. The cave no longer scared her. In some ways, the idea of leaving frightened her more than staying. Out there were people, rules, memories, and questions she wasn't ready to answer. One afternoon, Emily asked the question Anna knew was coming. "Are we going back to people?" Anna sat beside her on the stone floor. "We could." Emily picked at a loose thread on the fur blanket. "Do we have to?" Anna studied her daughter's face. She saw strength there now. Awareness. The kind of calm that comes from knowing you can survive. "No," Anna said. "We don't have to." Emily looked relieved, then thoughtful. "I like it here. It's quiet. And you don't cry at night anymore." The words caught Anna off guard. She turned away, breathing through the ache. "I'm glad you noticed," she said quietly. As the days stretched longer, Anna began working on things that weren't urgent but meaningful. She cleared snow near the cave entrance, marking where she would plant when the ground softened. She sorted their tools, counted furs, planned what could be traded once roads reopened. Emily helped, asking questions, offering ideas. "What if we plant close to the rocks?" Emily suggested. "They're warmer." Anna nodded. "That's smart." The child who once clung to her coat now stood beside her as an equal in many ways. Anna felt pride and grief mixed together. She had protected Emily, but the world had shaped her too. One evening, as shadows danced on the walls, Emily said softly, "I think he was wrong." Anna knew who she meant. "About us," Emily continued. "He said we were mistakes." Anna felt anger rise, sharp and fast. She steadied her voice. "He was wrong." Emily nodded. "Because mistakes don't build homes." Anna pulled her into her arms, holding her tightly. "You're right." That night, Anna slept deeply for the first time since winter began. Not from exhaustion, but from peace. The next morning, Emily found something near the back of the cave. Old markings in the stone. Shapes. Hands. Traces of lives that had passed long before them. Someone lived here before, Emily said in awe. Anna touched the wall gently. And they survived. Together, they added their own marks. Simple. Honest. Proof that they had been here. Proof that they had endured. As winter finally began to fade, Anna made her decision. They would stay through spring and summer. Build a stronger shelter. Grow food. Prepare for the next winter properly. If they chose to leave later, it would be on their terms. That night, as the last heavy snow of the season fell outside, Emily looked at Anna and said, "I'm glad he left us." Anna inhaled sharply. "If he hadn't," Emily continued, "we wouldn't know how strong we are." Anna kissed her forehead. "You're right." Outside, winter was dying. Inside, two women, no longer lost, no longer waiting, rested in the home they had built together. Spring arrived quietly, the way real change often did. One morning, Anna woke and realized she had slept through the night without checking the fire once. The cave was filled with soft light, and outside, water moved where ice had ruled for months. Emily was already awake, sitting near the entrance. "Listen," she whispered. Anna listened. Birds. Not many, but enough. Life returning. They stepped outside together. The air felt different. Still cold, but kinder. Snow pulled back from patches of earth, dark and waiting. Anna knelt and touched the ground with bare fingers. It was real. Solid. Something that could grow things. For the first time since the wagon disappeared, Anna allowed herself to imagine a future that didn't feel fragile. They worked slowly now, not in panic, but with intention. Anna shaped a better door for the cave. Emily helped gather stones for a small fire pit outside. They cleared a space where a garden would live. Every task felt like a choice instead of a reaction. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Emily asked, "Do you think he knows we're okay?" Anna thought about it. About the man who had left them in the snow. About the anger that once filled her chest. "I don't know," she said honestly. "But I know something better." "What?" "It doesn't matter anymore." Emily smiled. "Good." That night, Anna stood alone for a moment, looking at the cave, the firelight spilling softly from inside. She thought about the woman she had been, waiting, trusting, believing survival depended on someone else's strength. She understood now how wrong that belief had been. Strength was not loud. It didn't announce itself. It showed up quietly, again and again, when there was no one else left to rely on. Later, as Emily slept, Anna pressed her hand against the stone wall where their handprints rested beside older ones. She felt connected to every person who had ever faced loss and chosen not to disappear. In the morning, there would be work. Always work. But there would also be choice, dignity, and a life built with care. Emily stirred and whispered, half asleep, "Mama, I'm here. You didn't give up." Anna swallowed, emotion tightening her throat. "Neither did you." That was the truth of it. They had been left with nothing, no help, no mercy, no safety promised by others. But they learned something that winter could never take from them. When everything is stripped away, what remains is who you choose to be. And they chose to live.